Okay, this is Chapter 5, Lesson 7. And today we are going to be converting fractions to decimals, which is what you did in Chapter 5, Lesson 5. And then converting them to percents, which is what you did in Chapter 5, Lesson 6. So this is kind of a combination of Lesson 5 and Lesson 6. Okay? Percents and decimals. To write a percent as a decimal, we need to remove the percent sign from the number and divide the number by 100 because all percents are out of 100. To write a decimal as a percent, we do the opposite. We multiply the decimal by 100, by 100%, okay? So you don't have to write this down. Let's just look at it, all right? Okay, example 1. There are 4 under example 1, A, B, C, and D. So we'll just do one at a time. So example 1, writing percents as decimals. And letter A, we have 14%. So what does that mean, 14%? Well, it means 14 out of 100. 14 hundredths. How do we write 14 hundredths with the decimal? 0.14 is 14 hundredths. So 14 out of 100 is 14 hundredths. So as you can see, writing percents as decimals is really not that difficult. You just make it out of 100 and then you write the fraction as a percent. So letter B, 0.5%. So it's 0.5 out of 100. 0.5 out of 100 is 5 thousandths as a decimal. So as you can see what you've done here, and I'm going to write it for you, and you write what I'm writing, please. I'm going to move the decimal for you so you can see what you've done, okay? So 14, the decimal's here. I moved it twice. 1, 2, now it's here for 0.14. 0.5, I moved the decimal twice. 1, 2. So now it's here, and I need another 0 here. And it's 0.005, okay? And C, 125 out of 100. So I have the number 125. I move the decimal twice. 1, 2. Now it's here, 1.25. And D, 33 and 1/3%. We're using an approximation here instead of equals because 1/3 is a repeating decimal. 1/3 is 0.333333, on and on forever, okay? So we're approximating 33 and 1/3 is about 33 and 3/10. 1/3 is about 3/10, okay? Over 100, so I have 33 and 3/10. And I move the decimal 2 times, 2. So now I have 0.333. So one of the things I want you to notice here, if you'll look at the bottom of the screen here, what I wrote down for you, I want you to notice that a percent between 0% and 100%, which what am I talking about? This is between 0 and 100. This is between 0 and 100. This is between 0 and 100. This one is more than 100. This one is more than 100. I'm not circling that one. So all the percents that are between 0 and 100 convert to a decimal between 0 and 1. And a percent greater than 100, so now I'm talking about this one, a percent greater than 100 converts to a decimal greater than 1. So we should just see that relationship. So any percent that is between 0 and 100 will convert to a decimal that is less than 1. Any percent that is greater than 100 will convert to a decimal that is greater than 1. Okay? We'll talk more about that tomorrow also. All right. Next. Example 2. Writing decimals as percents. So this time, letter A, I have a decimal. Okay? And to write it as a percent, I move the decimal the other way now. So if I'm starting with a decimal, I move the decimal 2 times to the right. 28, 28%. Again, we're going to move the decimal twice to the right, 34.6%. Letter C, we're going to move this decimal 2 times to the right, 1.05 becomes 104.5. And letter D, 0.001, 2 decimals to the right, becomes 0.1%. Okay? Now notice that a decimal between 0 and 1 converts to a percent. Between 0% and 100, and a decimal greater than 1 converts to a percent greater than 100%. Okay? So now we're going to be changing percents and fractions, okay? So to write a fraction as a percent, first you have to write the fraction as a decimal, which is exactly what we did in Chapter 5, Lesson 5. Then multiply the decimal by 100%, which is what I just taught you to do a few minutes ago, okay? To write a percent as a fraction, write the percent as a fraction. If the percent is 25%, then you write 25 over 100. And then simplify it if you can. So 25 over 100 would simplify to 1 over 4. So again, if you had 25%, write it as a fraction. 25% means 25 out of 100. And then simplify if you can. I can simplify it by dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 25, which is 1 over 4. Okay? So 25% written as a fraction is 1 over 4. Okay? Example 3. Writing fractions as percents. Letter A, 7 over 8. 7 over 8. First we write it as a decimal, and the way we do this is we divide 8 into 7. 8 does not go into 7, so we have to add a decimal and 2 zeros. Make sure the decimal's in the quotient, and then divide. 8 does not go into 7. 8 goes into 70 8 times. 8 times 8 is 64. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Bring down the 0. 8 goes into 60 7 times. 8 times 7 is 56. Subtract. Make another 0. Bring it down. 8 goes into 40 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. And now we have our answer. 875 thousandths. To write it, that decimal then, as a percent, remember we moved the decimal 2 place values to the right. 1, 2. And we have 87 and 5/10%. Okay? Next one, letter B, 50 over 100. Okay. Write 50 over 100 as a decimal. That one we don't need to divide. 50 hundredths, written as a decimal, is 50 hundredths. And that is 50%. Move the decimal 2 place values to the right. 1, 2, 50. Letter C, 50 out of 50, that's 100%. All of it. All of anything is 100%. 7 out of 1,000. As a decimal, 7 thousandths. Move the decimal 2 place values to the right. 1, 2. And we have 7/10%. Example 4, writing percents as fractions. 72% as a fraction is 72 over 100. Now reduce it by dividing. I can divide by 4. 100 divided by 4 is 25. And 72 divided by 4 is 18. 18 over 25 is the fraction. 5% is 5 over 100. All percents are out of 100. All percents are out of 100. Reduce it by dividing by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And 100 divided by 5 is 20. 1/20. 140% is 140 over 100. Reduce it by dividing by 20. 140 divided by 20 is 7. And 100 divided by 20 is 5. 7 over 5. 0.3% is 0.3 over 100. 0.3 over 100. Multiply by 10 over 10. Ooh, hold on a second, please. Okay. To move the decimal out. So we want to move the decimal. Basically what you're doing here is moving the decimal one place value. I move the decimal one place value this way, then I have to move this decimal one place value this way. So that's how we get 3 over 1,000. Okay? And guided practice. Write the percent as a decimal. So 65% is the same as 65 over 100. 65 over 100 is 65 hundredths. Okay? %19 is 19 out of 100. All percents are out of 100. And I can't reduce that. So 19 hundredths is 19 hundredths. %131 is 131 out of 100. 131 out of 100 is 1 and 31 hundredths. Again, you're only moving the decimal 2 times. When we divide by 100, we move the decimal twice to the left. So just to show you, 131, the decimal's here, I move it 2 times to the left, now it's here. Anytime you divide, you're making a number smaller, so move the decimal to the left to make the number smaller. When we divide by 100, we move the decimal twice, because there are 2 zeros in 100. Okay? 9% is 9 out of 100. So I move the decimal twice in 9. The decimal's here, move it twice, and we place a 0. So 9 hundredths. Next, write the decimal as a percent. So 38 hundredths, write it as a fraction, 38 hundredths, which is 38%. So to write as a percent, all we do is move the decimal 2 place values to the right. So 0.2, move it 2 place values to the right, 20%. Two and 100th, move the decimal 2 place values to the right, 201%. $452 thousandths, move the decimal 2 place values to the right. 45 and 2/10%. Write the fraction as a percent. So this one we just did in lesson 5. Remember, we multiplied to make sure we get a denominator of 100. What can I multiply by? 5. What can I multiply by? 5. 20 times 5 is 100. What's 17 times 5? 85. So this is 85%. 2/10. What can I multiply by 10 to get 100? 10 times 10 is 100. So I multiply the numerator by the same thing. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 out of 100 is 20%. 9 out of 24. Let's try, anyways, to reduce this first. So we're going to divide by 3 and 3 and see if that helps us. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Can I multiply 8 by anything to get 100? No, I cannot. So you know what? On this one, we're just going to have to divide in and out. If it's not easy to change the denominator to 100, then you have to divide to get a decimal. Okay? Add a decimal and 2 zeros. 8 does not go into 3. 8 goes into 30 3 times. 8 times 3 is 24. 30 minus 24 is 6. Bring down the 0. 8 goes into 67 times. 3 times 7 is 56. 60 minus 56 is 4. Add a 0, bring it down. 40. 8 goes into 45 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract 0. There we go. So our decimal is 375 thousandths. And now we need to move the decimal 2 place values to the right. 1, 2. So we have 37 and 5/10%. So if there's nothing you can do to make a denominator 100, nothing you can do, then you have to divide the denominator into the numerator. Okay? 16/5. Oh, good, I can make this 100. 5 times 20 is 100. So what do I have to multiply the numerator by? 20. 16 times 20 is 320. 320 over 100 is 320%. Write the percent as a fraction and simplify. So 65% is the same as 65 over 100. To simplify, let's divide by 5. And 100 divided by 5 is 20. 13/20 then is my answer. Next. 2% is 2 out of 100. I can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, which is 1 out of 50. %350 is 350 out of 100. To reduce, I can divide by 50. And I may be able to divide again, but let's see. Okay? So 50 goes into 357 times, and 100 divided by 50 is 2. 7 halves. %11 is 11 out of 100. That is reduced. You can't simplify that anymore, so that is your answer. All right, looks like we're done. You guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.